Alrighty, so really the biggest thing in storyline that's been going on for this particular season has been Dak Prescott's injury to his thumb. Now, I have seen other players injure their thumbs, and there have been varying circumstances for how they return, but we'll touch on a more recent one in history that happened. But the thing is there is a timetable discrepancy. So initially we were thinking 6 to 8 weeks. Then we were hearing 8 to 10 weeks. Then, just today, early this morning, we're hearing 4 to 6 weeks. Now, here's the thing. Like, I wanted to wait because I was originally going to say, hey, listen, the season's effed up at this point. But this is what I'm worried about, right? Sure, let's say Dak Prescott's cleared to come back week 4 weeks from now. My problem is that they're gonna rush him back, and the thing is if no, knowing Dak, he's gonna be like, hey, listen, just play me, I'm good to go, and I don't want that. Listen, Dak, I get it. You want to play, you might be feeling ready to go, but if you can't get through these walkthroughs, and like we honestly see some issues, you gotta sit, my guy, regardless of what the team's doing. Like, let's just keep it real, right? For me, there is two ways of looking at this, right? If the team is doing fine, like if it's like we're winning games, but like we're barely winning these games, sure, a win's a win. But if it's like, okay, we need him to give us a better quarterback play, even though he didn't really play well that first night, like we really need something here. That's one thing, right? Like, but the other thing, too, is let's say the Cowboys are doing A-okay offensively. Like, okay, they're keeping their head above water. They're winning games defensively. And we don't have any problem. I'm cool with that. Like, that's fine. I would say keep resting. So, for me, if I'm the Cowboys, the biggest thing that I'm looking to do is I'm not playing Dak Prescott until everybody's healthy in the sense of, like, Michael Gallup's going to be back. James Washington's going to be back. Because I think the biggest problem, too, and we're going to see this, is there something up with how Kellen Moore's running his offense? Because the thing that annoys the hell out of me is that he runs away from what's working. And we had the one-off game with the Minnesota game with Cooper Rush. And the other thing I wanted to add here, too, because I made a video talking about the backup quarterbacks for the Cowboys. They aren't going to make a move on a quarterback. They think Dak's going to be A-okay, and they're going to rush him back, and I'm worried this is going to be a 2015 season. So, for those that don't recall, Romo gets injured early in the year. He gets injured in week 2, and the season looks pretty much over. Now, I remember making content, and I basically said something around the lines like, if you can get this team to 500, or at least 1 or 2 games below 500, bring Tony back. You were 2-7 when he came back. There's no incentive for the guy to come back. Now, the only reason they brought him back was because the NFC East was such dog shit that year that you were okay with bringing him back because you had a realistic chance at winning the division, which is crazy to say at a 2-7 record. But the main thing that I'm worried about is this. If we are like, let's say Dak comes back in 6 weeks, and let's say we're like, I don't know. Let's say we're 1-7, 1-6. I don't know. Let's just say he doesn't come back till after the bye week. Let's just play it there. If this team's 1-7, 2-6, do not bring him back. Just rest him the whole year. There's no incentive to bring the guy back, especially with your season pretty much being over. Especially if the rest of the division's looking A-okay. However, if your team, let's say, is 500 or 1 game below 500, consider bringing him back. And I know that there's this group of Cowboys fans that are saying, well, Cooper Rush, if he wins you a couple games, just keep playing him, F Dak. Here's the problem, and I said this, and I always say this in regards to how your quarterbacks play in the meantime. When Tony got hurt back in 2016, this is like a huge prime example of like when you do well and you don't put the starter back in. What we were doing is that offensively we were able to be effective. And really, you had good play to the point to where you really can't reinsert another quarterback in there because now you're going to mess with the ebbs and flows of the offense. But let's say that I think Tony was expected to come back after that Pittsburgh game. if we were like 4-4 and we lost that game, yeah, bring Tony back. Let's see what we got with him. And this is a key component that I think a lot of people misunderstand, is that unless we are having really good quarterback play or play that's working, and like if we win all our games, of course, don't rush him back, you know, there's no incentive for that. So that's why I'm kind of annoyed, because it's like, okay, if Cooper Rush doesn't play well, and Will Grier, you insert him and he doesn't play well, and you're refusing to go out and get somebody, whose fault's that? It's on you guys, the front office. Because you elected to say, you know what, we're not going to put Dak on IR. We'll be A-okay. And I'm worried they're going to rush him back, because I've still felt that they're trying to sabotage him. Whether you like Dak or not, I don't care. Like, that's not what I'm saying here. My main thing is it feels like they're just trying to get him to a point to where either they force him to ask for a trade, or they just want to prove a point, like, hey, our roster's A-okay. But I'm hoping, like, I want the team to do well, of course, and I think that I still am in the firm belief that the season is over until further notice. But yeah, like, I just don't know what else to say other than, yeah, like, we got to see how this team looks offensively. Like, if what I'm worried they're going to do is they're going to, like, Kellen Moore is going to try and, you know, continue the same thing. I'm not, okay, we're running the ball well, get away from that. That's the main thing, is just I'm very worried that this is going to be a 2015 season, and if I'm right, I'm going to be so upset with that, because the Cowboys literally had a season like this not too long ago, like, what, 8 years ago? And we're going to seriously repeat the exact same mistakes? Like, come on, man. And that's the problem I have, is then there's a lot of people that are like, okay, he's injury prone, which, you know, you can start making that argument because he's getting into that hurt guy stay hurt territory. Now, like I said at the beginning, another guy that had suffered an injury that was similar on the throwing hand, Drew Brees. Drew Brees got hurt back in 2019. He missed 5 games, and now that team offensively was a lot better than what the Cowboys have here. But the fact is they were able to keep the team above water before he returned, and even with them winning games, they reinserted him into the lineup. Now, that is something that goes with your coach, and it really comes down to how the team's playing all around. And that's kind of, you know, and I kind of felt this in the back of my mind, like, okay, you know, they really love Romo, but are they trying to get him, like, and they cut him because they were trying to trade him, like, okay, you got an excuse to get his contract off the books now because you got a new franchise quarterback. Now, I think the Cowboys are going to try and do that here, but I would say the only way they can do that, and this is just me speaking here so I can have a reference, the only way that they are considering trying to do a maneuver like that is if they get a top 3 pick and they're looking at, you know, I wouldn't be shocked if they took a quarterback. Should they? No, I mean, I think that if you're trying to build your roster, it doesn't make sense because, and I want to stress this for the folks in the back, regardless if we're in the top 5 position to get someone of that, like Bryce Young, CJ, whoever the hell you like, it's not going to matter, because if you are not going to supplement talent into this team, then who cares? Because if it were me, my long-term plan is you take that first-round pick and you keep flipping that. Get as much draft capital as possible, but that's for way down the road. We'll go down a couple. Well, I want to see how the first game without Dak goes before we start talking about scenarios and draft and all the other crap. But yeah, that pretty much does it, guys. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys later.